Hey everyone, I'm Alex.
And I'm Kirsten.
Tonight we're talking about a creepy haunting. Not that I hate the stories, I find them extremely interesting. They give me the creeps.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you a warning.
Oh no.
Oh, no, it's just that the names of the children in this actual story are not their actual names.
Yeah, okay, that makes
I have
sense,
no
yeah.
idea what their actual names are, but they've changed their names for the story purposes. So, thrifting is a great thing, and many people find joy in it. Others just want to cut down on the waste, and some people find it as a necessity in order to save money on the larger items that they may need.
Mm.
But buying something secondhand also means that it had an owner and a life before you, and sometimes those items keep parts of their past lives with them.
It's like the dolls.
Yeah, kind of like the dolls.
Haunted items are creepy.
Yeah. The Tallmans live in a small farming town in Oregon, Wisconsin, in which they believe is like a safe and quiet area. So the Tallmans moved into the house that they live in the story, in April 13th of 1986. This was like their dream home, and they planned to stay here for a very long time. However, not long after they moved in, they noticed that like the children were getting sick and staying sick, which was unusual. But they also had 3 kids, so kids pass things back and forth.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't stay constantly sick. All 3 of them especially. Like, that's unusual.
Yeah. And they did say, that was really unusual, but that was really the only thing in the beginning that was like odd about their new home. So later in February of 1987, Alan and Debbie Tallman are the parents, by the way. So
Alan and Debbie.
Yep. So they found a bunk bed at a secondhand store, and they were super excited to bring it home.
Oh, wait. They had already moved into this house and the kids were being sick?
Yeah.
Before they brought anything into the home?
Yes. So anyways, we'll get to that. There's a weird theory with that. Okay, so anyways, they find this bunk bed. They're super excited to bring it home, and the couple thought it'd be a great fit to their family. And then they, so they assembled it in the basement in late May. So they bought it in February. They didn't put it together until May. Okay? So then they brought it upstairs, and then that night, their son Danny was sleeping in the room next to where the bunk beds were. So, like, they have 2 girls and then a boy named Danny. Okay? So the girls got the bunk beds, and then Danny's in the room next door. So for context, the bedrooms had been moved around and like furniture was changed. So Danny wanted to keep his parents' clock radio, so they let him. And they set it up in his bedroom, and he'd never had a radio in his room before. Okay.
This is like the TV of the 90s.
Yeah, it really is.
I want one in my bedroom.
Yeah, we're in 87. So he got a clock radio and he was really excited about it. So, but during that night, the radio turned on all by itself. And then the knob was moving because it had an actual knob on it. So, and you could see the station moving up and down on it. So Danny comes running out into the living room where his parents were. And, he tries to tell them what happened. But his dad says he didn't believe him. And that quote, "If you're going to make this type of ruckus, then we'll just take the radio."
Please do.
I know, right?
Take it back. I don't want it anymore.
And that's a direct quote from his dad from an interview.
So I'm assuming this is after whatever we're going to learn happened.
Yes.
So at least the dad owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't believe him. I just thought he was. A lot of parents are not going to believe that. A lot of people don't believe in anything supernatural, paranormal, and then when it's your child telling you something's happening.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, okay, it's your imagination or something.
And especially because it doesn't actually say how old their kids are, except for the younger ones, 2. But Danny's barely school age, so 7-ish.
Oh, okay. He's younger than I thought. I was thinking 10, 11.
No, from what I can tell, he's 7-ish. Okay, so they take the radio. Everything's quiet. A few weeks later, Alan had his own experience that he couldn't explain either. So, he was painting the basement, and then, he took a break, went upstairs for dinner. When he came back down, the paintbrush was in the paint can, but the handle was in the paint, and, the brush part was sticking up, which he left it the other direction. And he knows he left it the other direction because nobody does that. No.
If you left the brush in the paint, it's not going to come out of the paint even if the handle slips in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that part was weird. But Alan says in an interview that it was strange, but he didn't think his house was haunted because who immediately goes to that thought?
I do.
I know.
People do. People that have experienced things before.
Exactly, but they don't seem to have experienced anything before.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the like I said, the Tallmans also have a 2-year-old daughter who was sleeping on one of the bunk beds, and she began to say she saw things in her room saying things like witch behind door and fire. Because you have to remember, she's 2. We're not making full sentences. Yeah. Anyways, so Debbie says that her 2-year-old talked a lot about fire specifically.
It's already creeping me out.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, go ahead.
And then Debbie goes on to say that, like, her family never mentioned that to Danny, but then about a month later, Danny tells his mother that he saw an old lady standing by his door and that she glowed like fire. Mm-hmm. So, like, Debbie says from this point, like, she started to believe, like, the house was haunted at this point, because if Danny doesn't know anything about this specific event, then how does he describe something? And he's describing it much more articulately than the 2-year-old is. Mm-hmm. But I could see, like, witch and fire, like, you know.
Oh, yeah. Right. 2-year-old saying there's a fire witch. Yeah. There's a witch who's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Danny's saying, oh, no, there's a lady and she glows like fire. Mm-hmm. So Alan and Debbie reach out to their local pastor. And when he came to visit, he said that, like, he sensed evil in their house, saying they might be victims of the devil. And in an interview, the pastor says he believes he was accurate, that the entity was demonic and in the spirit realm. Anyway, so the Tallmans then claimed that they were experiencing, like, all kinds of disturbances. So, like, doors opening and slamming shut, voices calling to them, and then the children continued to see visions that scared them.
So this escalates.
Yeah, and it keeps escalating. So,
oh, man.
So a week before Christmas, Danny's sleeping on the couch by the Christmas tree because that's what he said, he felt safe there because of all the lights. Mm-hmm. But then he saw the old lady again, and this time Danny was, like, inconsolable. And at this point, Alan was feeling like the whole thing, like, he was just over the whole damn thing, and that, like, he was just like, this is all crap. Like, he still wasn't.
So he hasn't had the experiences everyone else has had.
Well, he's had the paintbrush weird thing happen.
Yeah, that's one weird
thing. And then
thing.
he's seen, like, some door slamming and stuff, and he's like, oh, it's just a old house, you know. Yeah. It's a draft. But anyways,
I've seen a lot of that, like, in cartoons. I've never seen a draft actually slam a door.
I have once, but, like, we had a cross breeze and the doors almost lined up perfectly, so it was like it made sense that it would catch it.
I mean, I could see that if you got, like, a really strong wind outside.
Yeah.
But
anyways, so at this point, like, Alan was just, like I said, he's feeling over it, and then he did what I would think is the biggest mistake of his life.
Oh, no.
He challenged the entity.
No. Oh.
Saying, quote, leave my children alone. If you want to fight, fight with me.
All right. The problem is that's going to be worse if you don't believe it.
Exactly.
If you're doing it, like, and you don't actually expect it.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway.
So little things keep happening for the next 3 weeks. Nothing major. But then 3 weeks later, on January 7th, Alan arrives home from working late. And this is around 2 a.m. Okay. Mm-hmm. As he was walking into the house from the driveway, he heard this eerie howling sound coming from the garage, and he was trying to see what was making the noise. And he said it kept getting louder, even though, like, it was super quiet outside. Alan then heard a voice saying, come here. So he ran around the side of the house looking for someone. When he didn't see anyone, like, he walked back to the front of the house. He said the howling sound started back up, and then he was walking, and he kept hearing the voice repeating, come here, come here. When he turned back to look at the garage, Alan said he saw a glow of fire, and then he said he got scared and ran into the house. He set his lunchbox on the floor and locked the door quickly. He stood there for a few seconds, then he realized the garage was on fire, so he ran back outside, but when he got outside, there was no fire, and everything was perfectly fine.
Wait. He realized what he saw was the garage on fire?
Yes.
Okay. So he saw a fire and ran inside?
Yeah, according to him, he saw this big glow, got scared, ran inside. I mean, this is after someone saying, come here, come here.
Right, so I wonder if... all right, so he's seeing what everyone else is seeing, the glow, the fire glow, whatever. When he saw it, he just assumed it is what it is because he's been expecting it. Yeah. And all the creepy things that are happening around him. Yeah. So he freaks out. But then he goes inside and he's like, no, that couldn't possibly be it. It must be the garage is on fire. Oh, no. Yeah. And he goes back outside and everything's not on fire. Yeah. That's when he's like, oh,
kind of. Yeah. I feel like it's that delayed processing. So he goes back inside, locks the deadbolt, and bends down to get his lunchbox that he had set on the floor right beside the door. Okay. But then when he stands up with the lunchbox, it flies out of his hand and across the room.
Mm-hmm.
And Debbie says she recalls Alan running into their bedroom and running to the dresser and throwing his keys on the dresser. And like Debbie said, she had never seen Alan act like that, but like he just went to bed because he was like, this can't be real. I'm going to bed. After that night, Alan started sleeping on the floor of his daughter's bedroom because remember they shared the bunk bed.
Mm-hmm.
So they were starting to have like a really hard time and they would get scared when it was time to go to sleep. So he would sleep in there to comfort them.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would, like Alan says, sleeping on the floor was the best way. Like all the girls were comfortable, and then he would just go to sleep there because it was just easier.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, Alan says that one night when he was sleeping on the floor, he saw this fog take over the floor and cover him. Alan says a voice came out of the fog saying, "You're dead." And then Alan walked out of the room and he was like speechless. He came over to Debbie. And Debbie couldn't get Alan to tell her what happened. So Debbie calls the pastor and explained like she can't get Alan to talk and like something is wrong. Please come over. When the pastor describes that night, he says he 100% believes Alan and that he has no doubt that what Alan saw was real. And then the pastor says that Alan's fear and terror was like 100% real as well. A few days later, Alan's working late, so he asks his brother to come over like to his house and watch over the family and then like help get the two girls to sleep. So best I could figure out, mom is staying in the son's room with him to keep him safe. Dad stays in the girls' room to keep them safe. But like dad has to work that night, so he gets his brother to come over. Okay?
Mm-hmm. So I assume they've prepped brother.
Kind of. Hang on.
You have to explain why you want him there.
Yeah. He kind of did, but then like Alan's brother, like, he didn't believe in anything paranormal before that night, and, like, he really brushes Alan off about this.
He's like, I'll come and stay, but, like, whatever, dude.
Exactly, yeah. So, Alan's brother gets the girls to sleep. He goes to sleep. Not a big deal. So, but then Alan's brother also saw the lady, and, like, he starts screaming, and then he, like, when he awoke to see, like, this ghost.
Right. So, he probably woke up and didn't realize it was a ghost. He just thought there's someone on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So, he starts screaming.
Right.
So Debbie decides right then and there that she is done. Like, she told Alan's brother to get the babies, and then she started grabbing a few things. They left the house, and they never came back to actually stay. So
came back in the day to get your stuff and
kind of, yeah. So, but like they believe that the entire haunting is contributed to the bunk bed since the activity was not present before they moved it upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like after 2 weeks, like they being fled from the house, they like take the bunk beds and actually get them destroyed. And then they moved to a new city, and like the new owners haven't had any like paranormal issues out of the house.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they follow up with the new owners?
Yeah, like at the time that I got the information, like I don't think they followed up in 2024. But,
no, I know, but I mean,
yeah, the new people that moved in didn't have any problems.
That's what I'm saying. Like someone has spoken to the new owners, and they have not had issues.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the kids being sick, just a coincidence?
I kind of think it was, honestly, just a coincidence.
Right.
Kids get sick and stay sick.
Yeah.
It seems to always be something.
They're younger than I was thinking at first, too. So
yeah.
They get sick a lot.
Yeah.
That one creeps me out. It's interesting that it was the same thing all the time over and over.
Yeah.
So maybe there was an older woman, like maybe she died saving some children, grandkids, kids, something like that.
Maybe.
They were using the bunk bed.
I don't know, but then like my thing is this, and this is just me, but like I feel like that wouldn't be a scary ghost. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I mean, I get to a 2-year-old, probably any ghost is scary.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like children have a much better sense of things like that. And if they're scared, that's not a good person. Yeah.
No, I kind of tend to agree with the pastor though.
Yeah.
I know he's probably expecting more things in his job, but you can absolutely feel it.
Yeah.
If he said he walked in and he sensed it, you can feel it. That's true. You can. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find it interesting that the family blames the bunk bed solely.
Well, I mean, if they haven't had anything since then and the new owners of the home haven't had any issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that's, I mean, what else could it be? You get these bunk beds. This all starts.
Mm-hmm.
You destroy the bunk beds and you're out of that house. Nothing's happening to you now. Nothing's happening to the other people in the house.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Debbie does say in an interview something along the lines of, she never expected the first place to have an encounter, so she hopes she never has another one, but now it's not out of the realm of possibilities for her.
Yeah, and this will affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You will always think, if you go to a thrift store, you'll be wondering, should I buy this? You probably won't go to another thrift store if that's what you think happened.
Exactly.
If you think it was those beds.
I know, right?
But the problem now is anything that happens that's normal, like, oh, I did just misplace something, or I did leave it how a way that I came back and I thought I left it a different way. Yeah. You're going to be like, it's going to freak you out.
But a lot of people say that they just did this for money, too.
How'd they get money?
Well, they sold their story. Actually, they sold their story to Unsolved Mysteries. It was the very first Halloween episode of the first season ever.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I didn't know Unsolved Mysteries did something like that. Like, there's no really mystery to be solved.
I don't know. Is there?
I mean, there may be a paranormal mystery to be solved, but nothing. Yeah. I thought Unsolved Mysteries just did like murders and missing cases and things.
They do more so now.
Missing persons cases.
Yeah, and I think honestly, if you're thinking about this, was the Halloween episode too.
Right.
So I think they probably do something a little more. And then to be fair, I don't remember when the original Unsolved Mysteries came out, but like.
Yeah, I would have been interested. Okay, so I remember watching it in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, so that's my thing. So.
And I guess those were reruns then.
Probably.
Because they seemed old. But or some of them were probably reruns, but I would be interested to know if anyone, like, if you investigate, if you could find out where the bunk beds came from.
Oh, yeah. 1987 is when this story takes place.
But that might not be when they made the episode.
Might not have been, but I'm just saying, if they sold this to Unsolved Mysteries for the first ever Halloween episode, and to be fair, they may not have done a Halloween episode in the first season. It might be a second season or something.
It might have been 1, 2, 3 years later.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that they were both 1987.
That creeped me out.
Yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
If you enjoyed this video or episode, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you've got any kind of creepy stories like this that have happened to you, or if there's any kind of story you'd like us to talk about, any particular story. Don't forget to subscribe, and whatever you do on Spotify.
5-star reviews.
5-star reviews.
5-star reviews. That's what we want.
Thanks for watching. This is the part where Kirsten says bye.
Okay, bye.